recording. So obviously, I do want to start a bit of the news of the day with the president's tweet this morning regarding his concerns over potentially fraudulent mail-in voting and suggesting maybe moving the election to a time where he felt it could be done safer. Is that a concern that you share? And what is your reaction to, I guess, the reaction of his tweet?
Well, let's be very clear. The Democrats have desperately tried to do everything they can to change the result of an election that hasn't even happened, right? So we see that absentee voting has always been something that we've done in this country. With an absentee ballot, you request that ballot, it gets sent to you. With mail-in voting, full, complete mail-in voting, they're just sending ballots out across the country. They don't really know who is receiving them. Oftentimes people have moved, they are deceased. There was a story recently about a cat that had died 12 years earlier named Cody Timms, who received a mail-in ballot. So it is ripe with voter fraud. And unfortunately, again, the Democrats are trying to use the coronavirus as an excuse to have full mail-in voting across this country. And I think the president has said many times before and is clearly saying again, we need to make sure that we have a free and fair election, that every single person's vote is counted one single time. So that's really the point of the tweet is to bring more attention to this and say, look, this is not how we do it in this country. You don't 3 months before an election slap lawsuits across the country like the Democrats have done to try and change a system that we've had for hundreds of years in this country. That is not the way you operate. So the president just wants to make sure that this is a fair election, and he's talked about it many times, and quite frankly, he should continue talking about it until we get to Election Day and we know we've had a fair election.
So then what is the message to Republican voters then? You know, they don't feel comfortable for whatever reason going to their polling place in November. Would you suggest they do mail-in or absentee? How should those folks cast their ballot?
Yeah, absolutely. If you are not comfortable going and standing in line at a polling location, although I do think you can make it safe, I think you wear a mask, I think you stand 6 feet apart, they can sanitize in between people, but if you don't feel comfortable doing that, request an absentee ballot. All across this country, you can request an absentee ballot. Again, a very, very safe way to do it, and it's been done for many, many years with no problems. That is the safer way to do it than to just send out mail-in ballots all across the country. Absolutely request an absentee ballot.
Okay, I want to pivot a little bit and focus on North Carolina, obviously your home state. Both the president and the vice president were here this week. So what does that say about this state's role come November?
Well, I think everybody in the state of North Carolina knows that North Carolina is a very, very important state in an election year. For me, it's always an important state because it's my home state. But look, we worked really hard in 2016 to win the state of North Carolina. Hillary Clinton had said that it was her firewall, that she was definitely going to win there. We won North Carolina by a little over 3 points. And I was there constantly. I plan to be there from now until Election Day. You'll see a lot of me in the state, but you have seen the president and the vice president there because it is a vital state. And as you probably know, they were both there working on the vaccine that is now in phase 3 for the coronavirus. So North Carolina is important across the board, but especially now when we find ourselves in this global pandemic on the front lines of helping develop a vaccine that has been expedited faster than really any vaccine in the history of this country to disseminate to Americans, to get us on the other side of the coronavirus. So huge, but you will see a lot more of the Trump campaign in North Carolina. Again, it's a state that we were very proud to win in 2016 and look forward to winning again in 2020.
Last question before I have to let you go. So what is going to make the difference? I know we are about 100 days out, a little less this week officially. And if you're looking at the polls across the board, it's tight right now. A lot of the polls do have Joe Biden leading. So what is going to make the difference come November?
I just think that Americans, whenever they really look at who is the person that can get our country back up and running, there's one choice here between these two men. Donald Trump has done it once. Donald Trump provided us with the greatest economy this country has ever seen. We were firing on all cylinders as we led in to the coronavirus. We had the lowest unemployment numbers in the history of this country in many respects, the highest stock market numbers. We had in January at one point 1 million more jobs than we even had people to fill them. You saw that trade deals were being renegotiated all across the world, whether you're talking about USMCA, which just went into effect on July 1st, whether you're talking about the phase 1 trade deal with China, something so historic that nobody thought was possible. Donald Trump got it done. The manufacturing jobs that, don't forget, Joe Biden and Barack Obama told us were gone forever, had left this country, would never come back. Donald Trump brought them back. So I think when people take a step back and say, okay, we are going to get through the coronavirus, we are going to come out on the other side of this, and then we want to know that we get our country back, that we get things back to normal, that we get back to the booming economy we saw under the first 3 years of President Donald Trump. There's only one choice. It's Donald Trump. He, again, has done it once. He'll do it again. And you contrast that with Joe Biden and his vision for America, his socialist vision for America, because don't forget, he just signed on to this socialist unity manifesto with Bernie Sanders, a self-proclaimed socialist. He has Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez as his climate change advisor, meaning implementing the Green New Deal, $9 trillion for this country, overnight getting rid of most of the energy jobs in this country. I'll remind you, we are energy independent now for the first time in our history, thanks to President Donald Trump. All those jobs are gone. He wants open borders, wants to defund our police. So you're going to have a lawless society, people with no jobs, a bankrupt country. There is only one answer. It's President Donald Trump. So I think when people really are looking forward and thinking about how do we get back to normal, how do we get back to that great economy, President Donald Trump.
Thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. And I will send Casey a link. It'll be on at 5 o'clock. So
okay,
send
awesome.
it to you if you
Thanks
want.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Have a great
Colleen.
afternoon.
You too. Bye-bye.